You were not born for silence, not forged to stay soft. You were meant to be fire, fury, steel sharpened by every betrayal, every quiet dismissal, every room that underestimated your existence. They thought you were gone. They thought the silence meant defeat. But you were not gone. You were underground, evolving, hardening, transforming. You weren't healing gently. You were rebuilding ruthlessly. You weren't crying in the dark. You were resurrecting in shadows. And when you came back, you didn't knock. You didn't smile. You didn't explain. You walked in like a storm that forgot what mercy feels like. No warning, no hint. Just the sound of your boots against the earth like war drums. Your gaze stripped of softness. Your voice no longer seeking approval. You didn't come back for validation. You didn't return to be accepted. You came back to remind this world exactly who it tried to erase. You came back emotionless. Not because you lost your heart, but because you outgrew your need to be understood. Every scar taught you that empathy without boundaries is a weapon turned against yourself. Every sleepless night carved discipline into your bones. You returned with a spine made of stone, eyes like iron, and a soul unwilling to kneel again. They say you changed. Number. You remembered. You remembered the rawness of your own power, the part of you they tried to make you hate. You remembered the hunger they called too much, the focus they mistook for coldness. You remembered that being nice was killing you slowly. So you turned the switch. You stopped begging. You stopped apologizing for the volume of your voice, the sharpness of your drive, the intensity in your ambition. You stopped bleeding for people who wouldn't even hand you a bandage. You came back like vengeance, dressed in silence. They don't recognize you? Good. You're not here to be recognized. You're here to be reckoned with. This version of you doesn't chase, doesn't ask, doesn't explain. This version moves like a ghost with a purpose, unstoppable, unreadable, untouchable. This version of you is not here to inspire pity, not here to blend in. You're not a sob story. You're not a quote on someone's Pinterest board. You are the aftermath. You are the fury of being doubted, the calm destruction of someone who's done asking for permission. They'll say you're heartless. They'll say you're dangerous. Let them. Let them choke on their narratives. Let them tremble when you walk in and can't find the version of you they used to manipulate. Because this, you doesn't flinch. This, you doesn't explain your silence or your decisions. You disappear when necessary. You rise without a sound. You carry your pain like a crown and your goals like a loaded weapon. There's no turning back now. You tasted what it feels like to stop being prey. And now, every breath you take is war. Every step forward is a declaration. I am not who you left behind. I am not who you silenced. I am not who broke. I am who rebuilt in the ruins. You used to walk into rooms wondering if you belonged. Now you walk in and make the air heavier. You no longer wait for seats at tables. You burn them and build your own throne. Your presence is no longer soft. It's seismic. You don't sugarcoat your truth. You don't edit your dreams to make them palatable. You are not sorry for what you've become. This world has taught you enough lessons in pain. Now, you're teaching it what resilience looks like when it stops trying to be liked. You came back with no apologies in your chest, no hope for reconciliation, no nostalgia for the past. You buried the old you with honor, with fury, with ceremony. And in their place stands something sacred, something cruel to those who betrayed you, something beautiful to those who understand your scars. You don't need to yell. Your silence screams now. You don't need to prove anything. Your actions fracture expectations like glass under pressure. They don't need to understand you. They need to survive what you've become. And still they whisper, still they watch, still they wonder, who the hell is this version of you? And you give them nothing, because this version isn't a show. This version isn't here to perform strength. This version is strength, etched in blood, shaped by loss, driven by a clarity most people will never earn. You didn't come back for them. You came back for you, for the fire you buried, for the purpose you abandoned to keep others comfortable, for the self you silenced so long it forgot how to scream. But now it screams in silence, in discipline, in unstoppable action. Keep going. Keep moving. Burn down every limit they projected onto you. Destroy the boxes they tried to trap your potential in. Your revenge isn't rage, it's success. It's the cold, calculated refusal to shrink. You are no longer reachable by those who couldn't see your worth, no longer moved by voices who speak in doubt. You are above it now, not in arrogance, but in elevation. Your climb was steep. Your hands bled. Your hope nearly died. But you made it. And you made it alone. That is the kind of power they'll never understand. They will ask where your heart went. Tell them you buried it beneath the weight of their betrayals. Tell them it still beats, but only for things worthy. Not for chaos, not for guilt, not for familiarity disguised as safety. You came back colder not because you lost yourself, but because you found a version that doesn't play by old rules. You don't give warnings now, you give consequences. You don't seek comfort, you become your own refuge. You are the home you used to beg others to build for you. Let them wonder, let them worry, let them whisper behind your back as you walk past, silent and unshaken. Your existence is the revenge, your progress is the punishment. You became the very storm they tried to escape. You carry no grudge, just memory. You wear no mask, just truth. And truth, when unfiltered, is terrifying to the world that thrives on lies. You came back without emotion, because emotion is a luxury for the untested. You came back without warning, because real power doesn't announce itself. You came back without mercy, because mercy was wasted on those who saw your kindness as weakness. This is your era of unrelenting pursuit. This is your time to become everything they swore you couldn't be. No validation, no applause, just results. Brutal, undeniable, earth-shaking results. You don't owe the world softness, you owe yourself glory. The kind that doesn't beg, the kind that doesn't ask to be seen, the kind that carves its name in stone and stands alone when the dust settles. This version of you, this dark, focused, relentless version, this is the one that wins. And when they ask, trembling and confused, who TF is this version of you? You smile, not with joy, but with understanding, because finally, they're seeing what was always there, what they tried to kill, but couldn't. You are the reckoning, and your time has arrived. You didn't wake up like this. You rose like this, after being dragged through hell by people who smiled while cutting you. This version of you wasn't born in comfort or peace. It was forged in chaos. This version was carved out of long nights with no one to call. It was born while you swallowed your screams, just to survive. And now you wear your history like armor. Not a wound, not a weakness, but protection. Every lie they told you, every time they left, every time you were told to calm down, to tone it down, to be grateful while suffocating. Those are your weapons now. Not to harm, but to cut through the noise, to remind the world you didn't break. You sharpened, because you don't need their permission anymore. You don't crave their approval. You walk alone, not because you're lonely, but because not everyone is allowed where you're going. You learn the difference between solitude and isolation, between strength and show. You're not strong because you post quotes or scream affirmations. You are strong because you stayed silent and built discipline when no one clapped, when no one cared. You became your own fire, your own savior, your own fuel. And they feel that now. They don't know what changed, but they feel it. You move differently. You look them in the eyes with zero hesitation. You speak truth that lands like thunder. There's no tremble in your voice, no softness, unless you choose to give it. And that's what terrifies them. You're no longer emotionally blackmailed. You're no longer triggered by tactics meant to control you. You've seen too much, felt too much, survived too much. You are past the point of pretending. And in a world that lives off pretending, that makes you dangerous. You became disciplined, deadly, focused. They thought they won when you went quiet, but they never realized. Silence is where monsters are made. And you stopped being afraid of the dark because you became it. They pushed you to the edge and you didn't fall. You flew. They tried to drown you and you learned to breathe underwater. They tried to cage you and you used your chains to build a throne. You are not one of them anymore. You're not one of the broken, lost, confused. You are awake, aware, unapologetic, and untouchable. This isn't about revenge. This is about resurrection, about rebirth. You didn't just change your mindset. You changed your identity. You redefine what strength looks like. It's not loud. It's not pretty. It's not for show. It's lonely. It's cold. It's built in the dirt when no one believes in you. And it is lethal. That's what you carry now. Not pain. Not sadness. Not even anger. You carry power. Pure, focused, unrelenting power. They can't talk you out of it. They can't love you into shrinking again. They can't manipulate what no longer needs validation. You've leveled up past the old games, the old roles, the old scripts. You are the rewrite. You are the threat to everything that tried to suppress you. And the beauty? You do it all in silence. You're not posting about your plans. You're not explaining your healing. You're moving in shadows and speaking in results. And results don't lie. Let them stare. Let them mock. Let them reminisce about the old you. That version died for a reason. And this version isn't here for second chances. This version builds empires with blood on its hands and a calm in its eyes. This version doesn't fear loneliness, rejection, or judgment. This version has become so self-contained, so deeply rooted in purpose, that no storm can shake you. No betrayal can surprise you. No loss can define you. Because you've already lost the most important thing you could lose, the illusion of needing anyone else to complete you. You came back to dominate, to build, to create something terrifyingly real out of what they left in ruins. And every move you make now, it's calculated, it's brutal, it's beautiful, because it's not reactive anymore. It's strategic. You're not running from the past. You're dragging it behind you like a trophy. Proof that nothing could kill you, and everything that tried made you sharper. So when they look at you and say, "Who TF is this version of you?" Don't answer. Just keep moving. Let your silence echo. Let your results echo louder. You owe no one an explanation for the beast you became in the name of survival. You don't owe softness to the people who weaponized your kindness. You don't owe apologies to those who tried to mold you into a quieter version of yourself. Your existence is already the response. Your presence is already the reckoning. This isn't just a comeback. It's a war cry in human form. You are not healed. You are rebuilt. Not polished. You are forged. You don't walk back into rooms hoping they notice you. You walk in and the air changes. That's not arrogance, that's transformation. That's the product of pain turned into power, loneliness turned into self-mastery, betrayal turned into blueprint. So let them wonder, let them fear what they can't understand, and keep rising, keep building, keep becoming the version of yourself that doesn't just survive, but dominates. This version of you doesn't answer texts that come with guilt. This version of you doesn't entertain drama, doesn't respond to bait, doesn't flinch at confrontation. This version doesn't need closure, because this version closes chapters by becoming so successful, the past can't reach them anymore. This is your origin story, your villain era, your power arc, your ascension phase, all at once. Not the soft rise of someone asking for a second chance, the violent rebirth of someone who stopped asking, stopped explaining, and started executing. And there is no reverse, no switch back, no regression. You burned the bridges that led to your old self, so you'd never find your way back again. And good. That version was kind. But this one is legendary. They thought your silence meant surrender. What they never understood is that your silence was sacred, strategic, a stillness before the kill, a calm before the power surged back into your veins. You weren't just quiet, you were calculating, studying, preparing. You learned exactly how much to cut, where to bleed, when to burn. And now you don't speak unless it serves your mission. You don't move unless it bends the universe towards your purpose. Emotionless? No. You just stopped leaking emotion into people who turned your vulnerability into target practice. This version of you isn't cold-hearted. It's heat retrained, controlled, tempered. The furnace still burns, but now it's locked, behind steel. This is focus they can't fathom. Not the kind that's motivated by revenge, but by the deeper, darker truth. You owe it to the version of yourself who suffered in silence to never go back there again. And that's why you came back without mercy. Not because you hate the world, but because you finally love yourself enough to stop bleeding for it. You don't explain your absence. You don't unpack your growth for those who never valued your pain. You let them watch, let them assume, let them whisper about how different you are. Yes, you are. You are different now. You are precise, unforgiving. You make eye contact with the storm because you are the storm. You don't seek closure from those who shattered you. Closure is irrelevant when you no longer care why they did it. You don't rebuild relationships, you outgrow them. You don't soften for comfort, you sharpen for conquest. And when they show up, curious, confused, maybe even regretful, you don't open the door, because they don't get access to the healed version after disrespecting the broken one. You are no longer available to be misused. You are no longer open for discussion. You are no longer a backup plan, a second option, a comfort zone. You are not the just in case. You are the final form, the end of the line, the edge of the blade, and they'll never say it out loud, but they feel it. In their bones, in the way you look through them, not at them, in the way your presence carries no invitation, only authority. You've become something they can't manipulate, can't decode, can't soften with nostalgia. You are the glitch in their system, the one that woke up and refused to play the game anymore. And there is no greater threat to someone used to controlling you than your silence and success. Let them be uncomfortable. Let them choke on the version of you that no longer bends, because you are not here for comfort anymore. You're here for conquest. You're not here to be liked. You're here to be legendary. And legends aren't made by staying soft for the sake of others. They're made by becoming so undeniable that even your absence leaves echoes. You no longer explain your solitude. It's your sanctuary now, your breeding ground for greatness. You no longer crave companionship that comes with confusion. You don't need people. You need alignment. You don't need validation. You need results. You don't chase what's familiar. You create what's unforgettable. And yes, it's lonely at the top, but that loneliness is a gift. It's proof you climbed. It's proof you shed the weight of people who never saw the mountain the way you did. You came back stripped of illusion, of weakness, of dependency. They only recognize you when you bleed, but this version doesn't bleed anymore. It cuts. You've become your own rescue, your own revolution. You are no longer in recovery. You are in domination mode. And everything you do from this point forward is a warning to the universe that the version of you they loved to hurt no longer exists. The childlike hope, gone. The innocent trust, gone. The desperate need to be chosen, buried beneath the empire you're building with your bare hands. You've stopped shrinking. You've stopped playing polite. You've stopped giving people access to a soul they don't respect. You're no longer interested in teaching them how to treat you. You already did, and they failed the test. Now, they can learn by watching. Watching you rise. Watching you win. Watching you become so massive, their memory can't touch your new life. You are no longer in reach. You are no longer emotionally edible. You are an untouchable force of self-mastery, and the price of admission is too high for the ones who dropped you. This isn't healing. This is evolution. This is ascension through fire. You didn't come back to be understood. You came back to be unmatched. And when they ask, who TF is this version of you? Don't explain. Let the silence hang in the air like smoke from a war you already won.